Welcome, foolish mortals.
Time to be turning around. If only you could.
Cause this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
Hey, Henry, what's holding you up? Let's get on with the show. We can't hang around here all day.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for.
There's no turning back now.
This is the greatest show!
It's coming on the running lights. With the runaways are running tonight. Impossible comes true. It's taking over you. This is the greatest show.
Now it's time for the WDW Beyond the Gates podcast with your hosts, Michael Hurley and Gary Aruda. That's right. This is the WDW Beyond the Gates podcast, episode number 527, recorded from the D. Fauntleroy Studios in Kent County, Rhode Island, in sunny Southwest Florida. I'm your host, Gary, joined, as always, by my co-host and my cousin, Mike, down in Florida. How you doing today, Michael?
I'm great. Had some money left from our marketing budget, so I got some new tumblers. You like that?
You had money left after buying that soundboard?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, good. That's good to know. Some new tumblers. I like the orange.
You like that orange? Yeah.
You like wasting money, don't you?
Love it.
Think of all these like trinkets. That could be like a 15-pointer at Saratoga Springs.
It could, but
Alas,
no, I like toys. I like stuff that's not necessary.
Yeah. All decked out. We're joined, we have a special guest on with us this week. We're joined by Emily from the Magic Key Adventures podcast. Emily, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. It's not night yet for me. I think it's
Not
still
for you.
pretty. No, it's almost. It's 6:00 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still sunshine we see in that hallway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see
Those
the
of
back
you
here.
watching us on YouTube, we upload all of our shows now on our YouTube channel.
YouTube.com/@WDWBTG. You can find our shows and other great content there. So subscribe there if you haven't.
So real quick, before we get into the episode, like we're going to kind of keep it to a minimum, but did you understand those messages that I sent you, the golf phrases that I just learned?
No,
Like, did you see the mother-in-law?
Oh, that was like a week and a half ago.
Did you understand them though?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you got the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Like when you tow a 9-iron and it looks really good. And you're going to be buying drinks. And it comes up 10 yards short.
Yeah.
It looked good leaving, but it didn't go far enough.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So I heard a new one today. All right, yesterday.
Okay.
This is fantastic. This is called the Saddam Hussein.
You're the one editing this part, so be
This is
careful.
fine, Parts. Don't worry about a thing. It's
All
fine.
right.
I mean, Daniel's wife's on the show. I'm not going to say anything derogatory. So it's the Saddam Hussein.
Okay.
It's when you go from bunker to bunker.
I've heard that as like the David Hasselhoff or something. Spend
Going
a lot of
bunker to
time at the
bunker?
beach. No, a lot of time
Oh.
at the beach. Yeah.
So the
Anyway.
guy who told me this, he was a guest, and he went from bunker to bunker to bunker to bunker.
Oh, that's a lot
I
of
couldn't
bunker.
compose myself. What do you call it? Okay. So, anyways, we're gonna be losing her attention real fast. So
Yeah, we should probably just get right into it. I got a directive from my social media manager the other day that we got to shorten these episodes up a little bit. I was told. We need to be. We got to cut it down. Our marketing manager told us that we're leaving a lot of cash on the table by having these episodes too long.
yeah, from what I read, they're supposed to be a half hour to 45 minutes.
So we're gonna cut down on the banter. We're gonna get right.
We're
into
still
it.
talking about Saddam Hussein's about 45 minutes into the show. Sometimes
A lot of times that's true. So Emily's joining us from Arizona, co-host of the
Yes.
Magic Key Adventures podcast. Why don't you talk about that a little bit before we get started? Tell
So
people
it's
where they
Magic.
can find you.
Yeah. So Magic Key Adventures. You can find us. We're on Spotify, and then I have an Instagram. I'll post some of my trips. So it's Emily's_Disney_Adventures. And so I'll be posting some of my trips. I just posted some of my Walt Disney World trip, and some of the places that we went and did. And then we talk about Disneyland. It's a trip report podcast. So we're always talking about Disney World or Disneyland or Disney Cruise Line. So I just joined as a co-host. And so I think prior to that, it was just Disneyland. So now that I've been added to the whole thing, there's going to be Walt Disney World and Disney Cruise Line and any other Disney vacations that we do.
Very nice. So check that out. Subscribe, give it a listen. We do appreciate you coming on, and we're going to talk about you just got back from a trip to Walt Disney World. And as we like to do here, we're going to cut out all the park stuff, and we want to hear about where you stayed, what resorts you hung out at, and what you ate. So that's going to be your trip review. We don't care about Space Mountain or Guardians of the Galaxy. We want to hear about food and resorts. Yep. Is that right, Mike?
And and just a backstory, they are Disney Vacation Club owners. You own at Old Key West and Polynesian, correct?
Yep. Yeah, you got it right. Yeah. No, I'm not going to talk about Space Mountain and Guardians when Disneyland has a better Space Mountain.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
Disneyland has a lot better.
They are, though. Seriously, the people like the West Coast and the East Coast are like Red Sox, Yankees. Like when I was walking around Disneyland, oh, those people in Orlando, they think their parks are so much better. We're a bunch of snobs, aren't we?
I think Disneyland has like an inferiority complex because people. Yeah. I don't think the Orlando people really say, like, most Orlando people admit that a lot of the stuff in Disneyland is better.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard people walk around though saying it's too small and this and that.
Well, it's definitely smaller, like resort wise and stuff. But as far as the parks go, I mean, this is a topic for another day. I think those two parks pack a lot more in than any single park in Orlando, as far as attractions and quality of attractions. But regardless, we can move along. So why don't you start at the beginning? Where did you guys start off staying?
So we stayed at Pop Century. I was able to get us in for one night at Pop Century. We really like it. It's just it's one of the regular resorts. It's the smaller, what is it? Not a standard resort, but it's the value. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we stayed at that one. Because it was just going to be, we were getting in late, and so it was just one night. So we did
smart business decision because you don't want to be wasting DVC points if you're.
Yeah, and when you're flying. Yeah, we're flying in super late. All the flights from, West Coast to East Coast, they get in late. And then I think it's better flying back, to West Coast. You get in a lot earlier, just for the time difference. So we stayed there. I've stayed there before. That was actually my first visit to Walt Disney World. We stayed at Pop Century when it first opened. And so this is our third time staying there. And we really like it. If you're going to stay at a value resort, I think it's a great value resort.
Gary and I are both fans of Pop Century.
Yeah, I love Pop.
That's
where
I like Pop a lot. I love their food court. I love the grounds. Yeah, it's a great value.
And Pedal's pool bar and even the pool, it's just really relaxing. It's just got a whole different vibe. And then the next day we went and ate at the Boathouse. So that was definitely a stop we wanted to do.
You guys just checked out and headed right over to, you obviously had your bags transferred over to Old Key West, and then you just headed to downtown Disney.
Well, we stayed at Animal Kingdom. So we had everything transferred over to Animal Kingdom, Kidani. And we just went down to Disney Springs. So it was new for us because normally we take the buses everywhere. And so this time with Jordan picking us up, being there, that she's a cast member, a CP, it made it much easier for us. She just, took us. So we got to see Disney World in a different light, I guess. Because, you guys are used to driving, but we take the bus everywhere. So that was really nice.
With the first time in a car, like all the just things that you see, because the Disney bus, they don't take you, they have all the separate entrances in and out, and it's a whole different campus out there.
Yeah, it's definitely different driving around.
Yes, it definitely was. So we went to Disney Springs. We got to do the Boathouse. We got in Gideon's. That's like impossible. Most times that we've gone, you have to be in a queue and you have to come back in 3 or 4 hours. And
you said you just walked up, right?
Yeah, we walked up and we waited.
I've never heard that.
15 minutes. for Gideon's that day. It was so dead. Disney Springs.
Was it
I don't
early?
know. No, it wasn't. It was about 1 o'clock maybe.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't too early, but yeah, there was no line to go to Gideon's really. I mean, we waited 15 minutes. I even asked, I go, is there a queue? Do I have to put my number down? And they're like, no, you can just get in. And then we learned that at Gideon's, CPs get a discount before 2 o'clock. So it was perfect. And then we went to, Animal Kingdom, of course. And that was a nice stay. I got us kind of like an upgrade because we were only supposed to see the parking lot. And I was able to get us moved to a Savannah view, like a partial Savannah view room. And usually with DVC, you don't get
using
that.
points of a parking lot view. That's pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we had partial view, Savannah view. So we got to see like the warthog. So they put you at the very end. And we've done it before, and they put us in like a weird section where you kind of can see, but you don't see a whole lot. But we were still able to see quite a bit every morning. So I
had that room when I paid for cash years ago, and it was a terrible room. And I went and complained. I said, like, can you put me up at Pop? Because I paid handsomely for the Savannah view, and like it was a partial, and I was way in the corner, and I could see like dumpsters. I could see the parking lot, and there was a little viewing area of the animals. And I'm like, nope, I paid for Savannah. Technically, this is Savannah, but this isn't going to work for me. But now, if you're using 9 points for a parking lot view, and then you get that, all right, now we can talk.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to complain. I was only supposed to see the parking lot, and now I'm getting to see the animals. I was happy with that.
Because they've got some lousy views over at Animal Kingdom.
They do sometimes, yeah. And then they give you great views, because I remember we paid cash prior to another visit. I think it was like our first time, and I was able to get 3 rooms upgraded. We were supposed to just see the parking lot. 3 rooms upgraded, and we got to see a perfect Savannah view. We saw, the giraffes, everything. So, I mean, it's possible. They can. It's big, Animal Kingdom.
Beyond it, it's ridiculous. I mean, you get some.
Yeah, we should be able to see everything. So we did that. We also went to Victoria Falls, and we ate there that night. They have the best burger, I think, in Walt Disney World.
Yep, that burger is good. To that, right? I thought you had one.
Yeah, I did. I said it's good. You had one too.
Oh, I thought you said you heard that they were good. I'm like, I thought we both had one.
Yeah, we did. No, it was excellent. Excellent burger there. That's a fun bar too. I like that.
Yeah.
Because I was messaging Daniel, and I'm like, he's like, oh, we've been before. We love this place. I'm like, it's a hidden gem because there's never anybody in there. Never anybody in there.
Yeah.
Or if they're there just for a quick glass of wine before they go down to Jico or wherever else they're having dinner. And the place is always empty.
And they don't realize like the food, the service that they have, and the food that they have. It comes down, I think, either from Jico or Boma.
I heard the burgers cooked over at Boma, but they might also have stuff that comes from Jico.
Yeah, and they had some fries that we had that they put. I can't even remember what was on it, but those fries, it was like an upgrade to it, or an add-on, and it was really, really good. Those fries were excellent.
Yeah, I even got like a goat cheese dip there that was excellent. I remember getting the appetizer. That was very good.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know about it. I think it's great. I everybody goes to Sanaa, Boma, or Jico, and this place is just great.
I feel like in general the lounges get overlooked. Like people go to get drinks, but I don't think people ever get or rarely get food there. Like they don't think of it as a place to have a meal or have a snack. They just go to get their beer, or their wine, or their cocktail, and then they move along.
Well, Daniel likes to go over there to watch any sports that are happening, and then because I think they do have a TV there, and then he's always there for beer. I think Old Elephant IPA.
So they have some specialties that he likes, huh?
Yeah, he likes Old Elephant IPA. I've already learned his beers.
Are you a beer girl?
No. I rarely drink beer. I mean, I'll try it if he says, here, taste it and tell me if you think it's good. But usually I like the hazy IPAs, and he does not care for the hazy ones. So
So
yeah.
before we move forward, take us back to the boathouse real quick.
Mhm.
Do you remember what you guys had?
Yeah, we had
I absolutely love that place, and I think Gary does too.
We had the bread service. I had, the drink that everybody knows him for,
with
the
the
one
rubber
with the
duck
duck.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that's very sweet, and it's either like you love it or you hate it.
Yeah, it's on the sweeter side, but I think it's just a fun drink to have.
Yeah. It's good for the
And
Instagram, right?
Right. And then we had the burger. We always get their burger there for some reason. It's really good. They have a really good burger and their fries, and then the whole bread service. I think
I don't think we've ever done a bread service.
We had the Parker House rolls at breakfast with like cinnamon
those
butter.
were good.
That's what they give you. They give you the rolls.
Oh, those are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's all buttery.
With
Yeah,
the
they're
soft
excellent.
butter. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think the only difference is at the brunch they give you like a cinnamon butter, and at the regular, it's just regular
All right.
butter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was regular butter. It sounds like Texas Roadhouse with the cinnamon butter. So that's pretty much what we did there. And then we did go to Sanaa. We did the lounge. If you don't want to, check in and do that, and you can get into the lounge pretty easily most of the time.
We did the lounge too one time. That's good.
And so we just pretty much had bread service. That was like the next night. The bread service there is excellent. I always, just being, Mexican or Hispanic, I ask for the hotter one. So a lot of people don't know about this, but they give you like a hotter sauce. They'll give you all the standard, I think like 9, and then they'll give you one that's even hotter. So I always ask for that one. And so they'll give me that one, and they're like, okay, you have to be careful. It's really, really hot. And I'm like, I can handle this. You don't understand. I can handle this. I was raised for this. Yeah.
Now, does Daniel like that? Can he handle it, or is it just for you?
It's mainly just for me. Daniel he'll taste it, but he's like, no, I want to be able to, be comfortable. I don't. That's uncomfortable for me. And I'm like, no, this is perfect. Yeah. No, I always ask for that.
See, there's something about being uncomfortable that I like, because I love heat, and it's just I overdo it sometimes, but I love heat.
Yeah, I like hot stuff, but it has to have good flavor, though. I don't want just the spice that knocks me out. I want to taste it, and I want it to be good, and then it can be hot.
No, it's flavorful, but Dan's like, I don't want to have to sit on a block of ice the next day. Like, I don't want to be uncomfortable. And he goes, I don't know how you can handle it. But yeah, no, I like it. I'll mix it up with different ones. So yeah, their bread service, it never, you always get a good bread with the, the non-bread and everything. It's excellent. So if people haven't tried it, they need to try it. That was one of the things that when we went our first time, they told us you have to have the bread service there.
Are you a fan of that place? Because I think it's overrated, personally.
Yes, I like the bread service, and I like there's like a butter chicken. Have you tried that?
No, I haven't. I've been there twice, and both times it was good, but it didn't blow me away. Some people like, you gotta go there every time. I'm like, it's okay.
Right.
I thought it's a
well,
little. What about you,
I like it.
Do you?
I really like the bread service. That's up my alley. Like with all the different dips and like the hummuses and stuff. I like that. So I really enjoyed that. And butter chicken's one of my favorite, like just entrees in general. And that was really good. I actually got the kids meal size because I did it to go.
Oh,
and because I had the bread service, I just got the kids meal version of it. It was plenty. Yeah, because you could do if you're staying there, you can do takeout from Sanaa and bring it back to your room. So we ended up doing that one day when we stayed. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very good, but it actually worked out because I don't think everyone else would enjoy it. Like the kids might not like the menu as much. I think I just got them chicken fingers or something.
Yeah.
Dan loves it. And I think Dan likes the atmosphere of sitting at the bar, because the last time we went to the bar, one of the guys gave him extra beer to go. He had finished it, and he's like, well, I want to finish my beer. And he goes, okay, let me give you more of a pour. So he had like a full cup, and he only had like a little bit left. So he was so happy that he got, extra beer. So he wanted to go back, hoping that he would run into some of the same guys that he saw the last
same
trip.
guy who hooked him up.
But none of them were there. So he was
No.
kind of like bummed out about it. So I mean, it happens. And then the next day we went to Epcot, and so one of my spots is La Cava Tequila. So
I
I
like
had
the
to
way you
have
say that again. Say that again.
La Cava Tequila.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
So we had the chips dip, the queso and the guacamole. And then I always get a avocado margarita. And then this time around there's a Spanish singer called Maluma, and he has his drink there called Malumita. And so I had the Malumita margarita. So yeah, that one was really good. The Malumita.
All right.
It's different.
Hold on. I know what
you.
I think I know what you're gonna ask, Mike. So I want to say it first. Now, Mike has a long-standing pronunciation of a certain Mexican dessert that's very popular in Disneyland. The long things, the cinnamon sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And he pronounces it a certain way. I'd like to hear the official pronunciation.
A churro?
Okay, so
Thank you.
Well, you say it with a D though, Mike. You say churro.
Churro. It's the same thing. Yeah. No.
You have to roll your R's, so it's a churro.
Churro.
Okay, I can't roll my R's. That's how white I am. I'm incapable of rolling my R's.
And I'm sorry, but Disneyland
9 years of Spanish that I took in high school and college, and I can pronounce like one word right now.
That's good. That one's important, especially for Disneyland. I think the Disneyland churros, hands down, are so much better. I tried the Disney World one.
I don't know why. It's so weird.
It was doughy and awful, and I don't think they even really make them fresh.
They don't fry them. They flash fry them or something.
They probably don't sell enough of them, so they sit around. Whereas Disneyland, they're going through them like crazy.
They're awful. They are awful at Walt Disney World. Don't get a churro. But yeah,
this Cava place is cultish, and people love this place. So being where you live, I'm gonna assume you're in Southern Arizona. There's a huge Mexican influence, a lot of restaurants. Plus, you said you grew up in SoCal. So how authentic is this place for somebody for you to go in there and enjoy it? Is it that authentic?
For margaritas, and their drinks?
Yeah, and like you said, I think you got did you get small plates or?
We just tried the chips and the guacamole is not bad. I mean, it's not. I mean, even the queso, they have that kind of stuff here. They'll have the queso, but usually with the queso, they'll put chorizo in it. So they'll do that with your chips and stuff if you're gonna do that. And then the guacamole, theirs is more on the plain side. So usually we'll put salsa fresca in it, and we'll put the cojito cheese and some cilantro and some chili in there. There'll be different stuff that they put in there. So theirs is more basic. To me, it's just regular, avocados with salt.
I think the way what you're just because I don't like that at all. It's one of those things that I've just never grown to like. But what you're describing, I think I would enjoy yours.
Oh yeah. Guacamole. We even go to a place here in town that has a guacamole bar cart, and they'll make you fresh guacamole, and they'll put lime, and you ask for the the specific cheese and your jalapenos, and depending on how hot you want it, and they'll add the tomatoes, the onions, everything goes in there. It's not just basic plain avocado. Of course people aren't gonna like it. Yeah, and then the cheese, I mean, the queso, when you add chorizo to anything, I think it just makes everything taste better.
Yeah. No. Gary and I are both fans of that, so you're spot on with that.
Yeah, there's no lies detected.
But it's not bad. Margaritas, they know their stuff. So I, was talking to some of the people there, and they were saying that they're not from Mexico. A lot of the workers aren't from Mexico, so they're from Colombia, they're from Venezuela, they're from different areas. So they're not from Mexico.
That's
So-
unfortunate. I would want in the Mexican pavilion to have. I want people from like Colombia. It's not as authentic.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, but if you were Dan, he says they're all the same. They speak the same language. And I'm like, no, our
They're
Spanish
all
is
the-
different. I have learned that. Yeah, our Spanish is different. So yeah, we definitely had that. They're like I said, those margaritas. The avocado one is the one it's my go-to. That one, the jalapeno one, and now that malumita. I hope they keep it because it's really good. I'm gonna go back for that one again. And then I think the next day we met up with you guys and we did the Rose and Crown.
Yeah.
And we got to see Starship
Yes.
with Mickey Thomas, and that was awesome. We saw them the night before, and they just gave a good performance. It was amazing. But I think the one that we did with you, Mike, I think that one was even better.
Yeah, that's what your husband said too.
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy Rose and Crown?
You know what? I liked it.
Because you got the fish and chips, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the fish and chips are. I thought let me try them because I don't think I tried them the last time we were there. We did the same thing. It's very too much batter for me.
Oh, is it really?
I don't know. Yeah, it's too much batter. I'm so used to when we make fish tacos here, you do your beer batter and it's not as batter, it's got more flavor. You can taste the fish a little bit more. It has a better flavor. I don't know. I just felt like it was too much of a batter and you didn't really get enough fish in there.
Okay.
And the French fries were good, but I know you guys all said that the shepherd's pie was really good.
We got the shepherd's pie. That was fantastic. And then the waiter said, because it's a prefix, Gary. So we
with the
dining package. So we got the Scotch egg.
Yeah,
and your cousin got that. Did she let you try it?
No, I don't think I tried it, but she said it was really good. She tried the Scotch egg, and I can't remember. There was something else that she tried because she didn't get the shepherd's pie. She got whatever.
She get bangers and mash like Daniel did, right?
Yes.
That looked phenomenal. Kristen and I both got the shepherd's pie.
Yes.
And they got the bangers and mash, and man, that looked good. Because I was in between. I'm always in between those two.
Yeah.
I know the fish and chips last time, and I didn't like it there either.
Same thing that Emily's saying, just too battery.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Next time I'm going to try the bangers and mash. But Jordan said it was excellent because she took it back. She was like, I'm going to box this up. I'm taking it back. This is going to be my lunch the next day. I can't wait to eat it. And then I think even the waiter said it's going to taste better, over the next couple of days, sitting there. It just tastes better. So I'm like, I wish my fish and chips would have tasted better.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then the tartar sauce, I think it was lacking flavor too. I don't think their tartar sauce is that good. So yeah, we did that.
An English pub would be able to at least do fish and chips right.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I think the only thing they know how to do is beer. Because that area is just packed out with people just drinking.
The locals. It's
that's what they're known for, is their little bar.
Yeah.
So the next day we did after that was Topolino's. So that was Sunday. We did Topolino's. And
we might go to 3 hours right now because this place is just one of my favorites. You guys did the character breakfast, right?
Yes, we did the character breakfast. We've done the dinner there before, and the dinner is excellent.
It's ridiculous.
It's so good Italian food. But the breakfast, I think, if you're going to take your kids, I think it's worth it, the character breakfast, because you get all the characters. They all come up. They'll even come up again. We were there long enough where they were coming up again. And I'm like, okay, that's our cue. We need to leave because we've already seen these characters twice.
I think I saw them 3 times. That's how long we were there. I got a Bloody Mary though, too. So.
Oh, I had a mimosa. I'm
nice.
like, I'm getting a mimosa. So I had the Pog one. I thought, let me try it. Mm-hmm. It was good. It was really good. And I love their bread service. I've always heard about their bread being really good and the muffins and
the one that the basket that they bring out, like in that little painter's basket, isn't that? Mm-hmm. That service. They got like a croissant. They had like the chocolate chip muffin. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. It reminds me. So they don't put bread, but it reminded me of when when you go on the cruise ships and they have a little paint bucket there when you do, which show is it? It's the art one. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but they have like a little show. You'll see when you go on your cruise. And it just reminded me of that, of being in there. You'll love it. But yeah, that bread service, I don't think there's anything really like it other than.
And they had the Nutella. They had like a special kind of butter and then the Nutella spread, which was just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll get that on your cruise ship. You're going to get that for breakfast. If you go and do the sit down dining, you'll be able to get that kind of stuff too. I remember I'm like, you get all that stuff. But yeah, that stuff is amazing. Dan had like the quiche, I think, that they have there. And then it was like French toast, I believe, is what I had at.
Oh, like the creme brulee French toast?
Yeah, they have some special French toast there from what I recall.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was waffles. I got it wrong. I got the waffles. Those waffles were so good. It didn't even really need the syrup. No, it didn't. But one thing I'll never forget is that bread. It was really good. Even the next, like that afternoon, we took some home with us and we were still eating it. It was so good. So that one was great. And I don't feel like we did anything.
How'd you guys get over there, by the way?
We took the bus. So we got an Uber. That's right. We got an Uber or Lyft, one of the two. And it always happens that we get somebody that speaks Spanish for the Lyft and the Uber, and then they can't find the resort. So I get phone calls and they're asking me if I speak Spanish. So good thing, that I do, because the lady was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so lost. I can't find Kidani. And I don't know how to find you. Do you speak any Spanish? Because, I don't speak very good English. So I was able to help her out and get her where we were at.
I think like Uber and Lyft drivers would have the resorts memorized.
Well, that's the thing, because if you know that's like that's all you're doing all day is driving around Disney. So like you said, you would think that you'd be able to figure this thing out after a while.
Yeah.
Well, it's her side job, I think, because she says she works at Walmart by SeaWorld. So I'm not familiar with that, but she said she works by Walmart at SeaWorld. And so it was really hard. This is just like extra money for her. So she's still like learning a lot of the resorts. And I said, well, for the next one, you're not going to forget how to get here. You'll remember. So yeah. And I spoke to another, I think, Uber driver. I think when we went for 1900 Park Fair the next day, I think we took same thing, Uber and Lyft. And he's like, I'm very familiar with it. I know how to get here. And, here's my number. I don't know if they're supposed to do that, but he's like, here's my number if you want, somebody to pick you up on the side or.
Oh yeah. You got to have the business card. You got to take Uber right out of the picture. Why am I giving you 30%? I'm doing all the work.
And the airport, he said, I didn't think so, but he's like, here,
that guy screwing his company. I love it.
He's like, well, they charge so much. He's like, they charge you $60 for the airport to the resorts, and then we only get like a small percentage. He goes, that way I can charge you less, and then you'll get. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's good to know. I'll keep your number. I'll keep it in mind. So yeah, I had him give me his number, and he's like, and I have friends. If I can't pick you up, I have friends that'll pick you up.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah. So
I feel like Uber and Lyft are sketchy enough that like going the next layer down is just not where I'm comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Because now nothing's trackable.
Yeah.
When you're in somebody's trunk, like there's no record of you getting into that,
Yeah, I'm like, thank you. I'll keep your number, but I think I'll stick with Uber and Lyft.
Now, what do you think about Riviera? Do you like it?
I really want to stay there. I know you guys have stayed there. That's been on my list. Dan was not crazy about it the first time he saw it. He goes, I feel like it just looks like a upscale Marriott. Right. Yeah. I loved it. I go, you know what? I've been in the French Riviera and I've been to Monaco. And so it reminded me of Cava or of Hotel de Paris. So it just reminded me of that at that hotel. It has that vibe. And I told Dan, you don't understand. You haven't been to the Mediterranean.
Right.
You haven't been to Monaco. You haven't been to all those areas. That's what the hotels look like. They
Right.
look
That's the thing. Like, people complain about the lobby, but that's what the lobbies look like in that area of the world. And like, oh, it's not grand like the Grand Fleur. Well, it's not supposed to be. Like, it's very unassuming is the lobbies over there. So, like, from what I've heard, and I've obviously never been over there, I heard that resort is themed perfectly.
Yeah.
Now, if that's not what you're into, then fine, but it's still a very well themed resort.
Yes, it definitely is. Just, from my experience of being down in the French Riviera, we saw those hotels. It reminds me so much of being in Monaco and just, that hotel that's there. And then they have that casino that's really, famous. It has all the vibes, the look, everything. They really, Disney is really good with details. And I think they really did it well. So I just felt, I tell Dan, I feel like I'm in the French Riviera again, just the way everything's done. So I love it. I really want to stay there. I know that they've stayed there. We tried to stay there, I think this last trip, but I think one of our points contracts, we didn't have enough. So maybe the next one we'll be able to stay there and try it out.
It's a perk of having direct contracts there, Gary Frank.
Yes, that's true.
Does Gary have a contract?
Gary's a DVC. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're all DVC guys. We weren't a couple years ago, and now we're complete addicts, aren't we?
Yeah. So we'll skip over 1900 Park Fair because you guys are going to discuss that in great detail on our next episode.
Yeah, that was excellent. And then we had we stopped at Chef Art Smith the day that we went to Topolino's. Right after that breakfast, we went to Chef Art Smith and we just went and had a drink there. Dan, we've been there before.
I was really hoping that you said you had a late breakfast and then jumped over there and then had lunch. I mean, that is that's just right up my alley. The fried chicken right after you had some steak and eggs at Topolino.
Their fried chicken, we did try that, and then their hummingbird cake, one of our last trips, and it's excellent. But Dan was like, let's just go have some drinks. He was like, let's try it. So we did. We sat out there. We had some drinks. It was really nice. The weather was great still. So I don't know how it is now, if it's warmed up a little bit.
Yeah,
but
it's getting there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then we checked out of our hotel. That was like the last night on Sunday was our last night at Animal Kingdom. And we went over to Old Key West. And so when we got there, we were only supposed to have a small studio, and we got upgraded to a 2-bedroom villa.
Whoa.
Yeah. So when we saw it on the app, because we just, we were checking in, and I'm like, Dan, look at this. We got upgraded to a 2-bedroom villa. This doesn't feel right. It's just both of us, and Jordan was supposed to stay, but she didn't end up staying with us. So we had one whole room.
Yeah.
There.
Not even being used. Yeah.
And I literally found out about this like as soon as I got back home. Because I told Daniel, I'm like, God, if I had known like when we were having breakfast,
you would have packed a bag.
Yeah, I could have just stayed in one of the rooms, and I could have we could have hung out that night over at Gurgling Suitecase, because I know that you guys headed over there at night. But I'm like, God, I literally had just gotten home, and Kristen got home maybe a half hour after I had gotten home, so the dog would have been taken care of, no issues. I'm like, God, I wish I had known it.
You would have invited yourself. You
should always. I invite myself. You know me.
You should always have a go bag with you.
You gotta have, because I have a bathing suit in my backpack,
right?
Because there's times where if I'm ever at Epcot and I get warm, I got to go swimming at one of the Crescent Lake resorts,
right?
So you always have to have a bathing suit, in your backpack, and I guess maybe some toiletries just in case you
never know.
My friends get upgraded.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if we would have known, I even told Dan, he could have. Mike could have easily stayed in that room. It was all by itself. All we did our laundry. It was nice because we
Yeah,
got upgraded.
that is a good perk. Yeah, because you have the laundry, so you got all that done.
And we had, the whole living room, the full kitchen. I mean, it's awesome. I love
Was that
having
your
a
first
two-bedroom.
time in one of those one
No.
or two bedrooms? Because that is an absolutely gorgeous room, isn't it?
Yes, I love it. We've been in a 2-bedroom villa. I think this was our third or fourth time in a 2-bedroom villa. I love those.
They're
We
great.
usually, when we do a 2-bedroom villa, it's usually my parents and sometimes Jordan will go with us to the 2-bedroom villa. But this time it just felt weird. I'm like, oh, we don't have anybody else in the other room. It's, we usually have one room and the other room is that we always have people in here. And then we always make breakfast.
Cousin Eddie in his boxer shorts with like a 12-pack of Bud Light. Hey guys, don't mind me. What are you watching? Take the remote control. You guys are halfway through a movie. I just take the remote out of your hand.
Hey, there's another room. There's three TVs. There's the TV in the kitchen area, and then there's the TV in the other 2 rooms.
Were you near Hospitality House too? Were
Yes.
you guys, that was a good hookup.
Yeah, we did. Because originally we were going to get the studio by the Hospitality House, and then we ended up getting that 2-bedroom. And it literally, we were in number, I think, 13, building 13. So it's right across.
Nice.
Right across from the Hospitality House. Like we could see everything from there. It was perfect. Yeah.
That's such a big upgrade too, because like you said, the studios at Old Key West aren't that great. But to go to a 2-bedroom there, it's amazing.
I like their studios. So we've stayed at their studios. I don't mind it. I like it. I like it better than Saratoga. I'm not a Saratoga fan.
Really?
I am not. I'm not crazy about that resort. I think when we stayed, we didn't stay in an upgraded room, or the room hadn't been upgraded yet. They were still refurbishing it.
Because their new rooms are gorgeous.
They're beautiful.
Really?
Oh
yeah.
So
See,
nice.
No, I would rather stay at a treehouse villa at Saratoga. If I'm gonna stay at Saratoga,
those are nice. I love that. I love Saratoga.
Yeah, Saratoga is great.
It is like so underrated as far as I'm concerned.
See, and I feel like Old Key West. I love the vibes of Old Key West. I love the walking. Like you could go walking every day. You could walk. We usually stay in like Turtle Pond area. And then that's where they have the other pool. And then they have that chicken sandwich that's excellent there. So we really like staying in that area. But, the Hospitality House isn't bad because you're right by the main pool and Gurgling Suitcase. And so we did that this time. So, yeah, we went there that night to Gurgling Suitcase. And Dan,
you saw my girl, didn't you? My friend Lorna.
Yeah, we did.
I told Dan, I'm like, snap a picture with her. I love her. She's such a nice person.
Yeah, she remembered you.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, she remembered you. Dan was saying like, hey,
because I sent the picture to Dan. I'm like, show Lorna.
Yeah,
like,
she remembered
talking
you
about Scotland with you. I'm like, of course.
Yep.
What do you call me, Gary? America's guest.
America's guest. Yeah.
I think it's hard to forget you. I'm thinking you're.
Oh, it's definitely hard to forget me. Definitely hard to forget me.
You're
I try all the
time.
I'm unforgettable, am I not, Gary?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much that's our trip in a nutshell. Basically, what we did.
Nice. Sounds really good.
Yeah, it was a short trip. I feel like we were missing stuff. There was a lot we didn't get to do that we normally get to do, and I felt like we were missing a cruise. We usually have a cruise with our trips.
Yeah, it would make sense leaving from Florida.
And so we didn't have that this time around. So it's just the next one I'm gonna have to put a cruise behind it or in between.
Yeah. It's tough.
Now let me ask you a question.
You gotta do it.
Because we're wrapping up and we're right around the 45, so that's good. But what do you like about Orlando compared to California? Like, do you like the fact that there's 4 parks? Do you like downtown Disney better than, or Disney Springs better than down? Like, what do you like and dislike about Orlando? Let's just leave it at that.
One is Disney Springs I love Disney Springs better than our downtown Disney. They are working on our downtown Disney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was all under construction when I was there.
They just opened that Centrico. I haven't tried it. Hopefully in the next week we'll be back up there. We'll get to try it. And that one is supposed to be from the chef is from Mexico, and it's supposed to be, higher end Mexican food. So we'll see. We'll see what I think of it. But Disney Springs better. I like the resorts. I love all the resort hopping, checking out the resorts, going out. I think your sit down dinners are much better, and you guys have more options than Disneyland. And then some of the parks, Animal Kingdom, we can't get that at Disneyland. So that's one thing, but we can get everything that's in Hollywood Studios.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yeah, you can get the other
ones. I mean, Magic Kingdom.
Epcot's so unique. But you have Hollywood Studios, but I think you have a way better version of Hollywood Studios out there.
Yeah, so I think your Fantasmic is better. It wants to be like World of Color, but it's not quite like it. And I love World of Color. I think there's nothing like it. I think World of Color just, it passes everything that's there, for shows. But yeah, I think just not having Animal Kingdom, I wish we had that, and Epcot. I think those are the two that we're missing if we had stuff from there. But for Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom, I feel like I'm not missing out. Maybe People Mover and Carousel of Progress, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this week's episode. Emily's going to join us for our next episode, as well as we're going to talk about the reopening of 1900 Park Fair. So we'll wrap everything up. Why don't you go ahead and plug your podcast one more time, and then we'll do our stuff.
So my podcast is Magic Key Adventures. So we talk about trip reports, going to Disneyland and Walt Disney World and Disney Cruise Line.
Very nice. And you can find that wherever you download podcasts. So please check it out. Give it a listen and a subscription. As you know, all of our stuff is at WDWBTG, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. WDW Beyond the Gates Podcast Family is our Facebook group. YouTube.com/@WDWBTG. Download us wherever you get your podcasts. You can go to our website, WDWBTG.com. Email the show info@WDWBTG.com. Mike at WDWBTG.com. And Gary at WDWBTG.com. Anything else, Mike?
No, you hammered everything.
All right, that's going to do it for episode number 527 of the WDW Beyond the Gates podcast. From my co-host Mike and our special guest Emily from Magic Key Adventures, my name is Gary. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all our company. M-I-C.
See you real soon.
K-E-Y.
Why? Because we like you.
M-O-U.